We are Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck.
We're a couple of Canadian chicks who are fascinated by freaky shit, so join us as we fall down numerous rabbit holes.
Numerous, so very many rabbit holes. Fortune telling. We talk true crime, cryptids, haunted AF stuff, and much, much more.
There are definitely some movie tangents in there too, because we love our horror movie chat.
Darkcast Network, bringing our indie podcasts out of the shadows.
Hey up, witches and beautiful souls. Welcome to the Bell Witch Podcast with me, Swailes, the Friendly Green Witch, a podcast to help you get witching in the 21st century. This is at last a solitary witch episode from this witch. They are quite hard to put together, they take a lot more time than the Moot Loots. But it's here and it's all about Feng Shui. Little tips on that and the overlap of witchcraft, which I just find absolutely fascinating. Just want to observe the strange vibes at the moment this year, the year of 9, which is about completion. There's been so many endings recently. There's so much stuff that's finishing. One being the amazing campsite, which holds all the pagan camps that I go to throughout the year. Lime Tree Farm in Ripon is finishing at the end of this year, and it is a massive blow to the pagan and spirituality community. I've just come back from a camp that has been going 18 years. It was last weekend and it was just so emotional because the people who started the camp 18 years ago have worshipped the land every year, you know, around solstice. So there were a lot of tears and my children felt it too, and we were saying goodbye to the stone circle. The weather kind of reflected our feelings in terms of 40 gale winds and rainy and warm and hot and bothered, and I feel like it's a massive ending, but it's right. The land needs to retire and they're going to rewild it and give it back to nature, which I just love, like I really love. So I left the place with love, and maybe in 100 years some people might come across all the stuff that's there, like the stone circle, and be like, what's this? What's this strange civilization thing in this little site? Can you imagine? I was thinking the other day, it might make a good Solitary Witch episode to look at stone circles and why they are and what they mean and stuff like that. It's quite an exciting topic to cover. Welcome to my new Patreon members. We have KWH, K Shiverly, Jodie Hanson, and that's it. Thank you very much for coming on to my Patreon to have a little look. There is the Cauldron of Woo, there is Witch Stories, there's Behind the Seeds videos, a bit of poetry. There's a good 133 posts on there currently. And although it's not the busiest Patreon in the world, because I am a solo witch, I do try my best to give you bonus exclusive content as well as early access ad-free episodes. And then there's the Discord as well, and you can join the Discord, and if you leave the Patreon, I'm not going to kick you out of the Discord. It's great just to have a little chatty community, so please do join. And if you want to show the Bell Witch podcast some love, I humbly ask that you can leave me some stars, a rating, perhaps share it with your friends, share it on your stories, tag me on social media, that'd be awesome. The Bell Witch podcast, separated by underscores. Apple Podcasts, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please could you leave me a review, because I just don't get them. I've been on 39 for like a year. So it'd be lovely to get a new rating, because every time I see them I do a little dance. It's like magic, I do a little dance. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm gonna play you the Solitary Witch episode, and I think you can really tell that I'm obsessing and I'm really passionate. So I hope it's helpful for you. Do enjoy, and I shall speak to you in 2 weeks. Feng Shui. What is all that about? You may have heard of it and just think it's something about moving furniture around your house that apparently changes things in your life, and some kind of weird magic comes into play and changes all sorts of stuff. I mean, I used to kind of think that before I got into all this reading. It is about signalling to the universal energies, wherever you think that energy comes from. It's using your house to signal that you want good opportunities and good vibes to come your way. And at the moment, I'm consuming so much about Feng Shui because I discovered it recently at the Manifest, where the lovely Kimberly Gallagher was on the stage talking about discovering Feng Shui and how it's transformed her life. Living and working in Australia as a Feng Shui specialist and practitioner. And she's got a book coming out, but she's got this amazing podcast called The Feng Shui Flow, which I have just been binging. And it is really cool. And it does remind me a lot of magic and about how magic may work. And the elementals being present in our lives and how we interact with them, and the impact elements have on our well-being, as well as like vibes and our aura and stuff. And so, because I'm obsessed and I'm reading lots, I thought perhaps it'd be fun to get a witch's point of view, a witch's perspective on Feng Shui and how it may work, and observe the overlaps between the two customs and theories of this ancient practice and belief system. And then I could also weave in some little pointers, some sweet little hot tips just to get your energy flowing a bit easier, stuff that's not going to disrupt your house too much. You don't need to buy anything. Little habits, little rituals that may help good energy or chi flow into your house from a witch's point of view. So let's dive in. The words Feng Shui translate to wind and water in Chinese. It is thought to have started 6,000 years ago. And although it is hard to discern exactly where the various styles have originated from, it's likely that it's evolved slowly over a very, very long period of time as society and civilization has developed. Feng Shui is the mixing, flow and penetration of these two life-altering elements, that is water and wind, best described as essential energy, aka chi. I always want to say chai because it's C-H-I, but it's chi that rhymes with tea. You probably recognise and may love the yin and yang symbol, which is quite big in Feng Shui. Yin and yang are the words used to describe the two different forms of the energy, qi. Yin is slower, more dispersed. It's the feminine aspect of the energy. It's chill. It's a chill vibe. It's a I can't be asked getting up vibe. It's a meditating vibe. Cool energy in terms of temperature, which is good, which is needed. And yang is the male aspect of the energy. It's speedy, it's action, more compressed and hotter. Literally, they mean the shady side of the mountain, yin, and the sunny side, yang. Oh, and I've got a fantastic tip to help you remember which is which I have struggled with probably my whole life. So here we go. Yin rhymes with dim, and dim is relaxed, like you're relaxing in a room when you're being calm and collective. And yang is like bang, like pounding or getting into action, being active, being fiery. The dim one is actually from Feng Shui Flow podcast, but the yang one I made up like on the spot, so I can 50% claim this handy little tip. Yin and yang complement each other as their opposing forms that allow you to connect to yourself and everything around you. And what does that remind me of? the goddess and god energies that I work with on my altar as a witch. Light and dark, as above, so below. Everything needs to be balanced to create harmony. They both have masculine and feminine energies opposing each other. Everything needs to be balanced in nature in order to thrive. So yeah, the yin and yang symbol is a visual representation in symbolic form of the balance we are trying to achieve in Feng Shui. Even if you were to spin the yin and yang symbol, they replace each other perfectly, don't they? So it's like an ever spinning wheel of balance. Oh gosh, I just love it. My witchy heart loves it. So if people become burnt out from overdoing stuff, they have had too much yang, and that has given up to too much yin, because now you're burnt out and you're trying to recover. The balance isn't there, therefore one takes over until it can no longer, and then the other one takes over. So yeah, the idea is it's continuing. And the opposite of that is being indecisive. So yin and yang stop turning, and that prevents anything happening at all. So that's not what you want either. You want the yin and yang energy to gently rotate, so they're always replacing each other on either side. To stop making decisions and stop moving forward brings about too much yin, and therefore the chi in your life doesn't progress inside and outside. I hope this is making sense. If you're going through a period in your life where stuff's not happening, or you feel a bit lethargic, like at the moment I'm quite lethargic and therefore not really wanting to do anything, I've got too much yin because the energy around my house is not helping me create and move because it's a mess, which is why I got into all this, because the clutter, oh my God, listener, the clutter is outstanding and I need to change something. And that's a very simplified version of the yin and yang as I understand it currently. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to snap it into little bite-sized, understandable chunks. So let's have a look at the history. Thousands of years ago, shamans would be called upon by the upper classes to find the best land for them to build on. And two of the most important things that shamans would look out for were the right amounts of wind and water. So this was quite important because houses need to be built in sheltered lands amongst harsh cold winds that came sweeping through the houses that were built in the mountains. So it's really important that doors and windows had to be positioned in such a way that was balanced and also tapping into the elementals to gain the most comfortable space in the house. And then, of course, water source was massively important because water source is life force. Shamans made the connection that being mindful of these two important elements and inviting them into your home in such a way to benefit the people who lived in the houses, and this created what we know today as Feng Shui. Within the system of Feng Shui, there is 5 key elements, which are water, earth, fire, wood and metal. And the idea is you're making sure that all these 5 elements are balanced equally throughout your home, because the different 5 elements represent different things similar to our very own witchcraft and the 5 elements we work with, which is earth, air, fire and water, and spirit or soul. In Feng Shui, wood represents growth, vitality and creativity, and is associated with expansion, flexibility, new beginnings. Colours are green and teal. The direction is east, and the linked areas are health, family and personal development. Plants are very good at representing wood in the home, and so is obviously all the tables and chairs and all that jazz. Then you've got fire that represents, like witchcraft, passion, energy, transformation, movement, associated with traits such as leadership, boldness and enthusiasm, all the colours that we know, red, orange and bright yellow, direction is south. Linked areas, fame, reputation and inspiration. and is obviously represented by the lovely flame, candles, fire pits, your cooker, your hob, etc. Earth represents stability, nourishment and grounding, and it is associated with support, balance and reliability. Reliability. Gosh, I can't say it. The colours are brown, beige and earthy tones. The direction is a little bit different in Feng Shui. Here it is either the centre, the northeast or the northwest. Linked areas are relationships, knowledge and inner peace. In Feng Shui, earth is represented by tableware, crockery, earthware, pottery, tiles and all that kind of stuff. Not plants, which is a bit weird, but stuff from within, beneath the earth that's deep down. Like crystals. Crystals are also fabulous to represent the earth in Feng Shui too. Then you've got your metal, which represents precision, clarity and efficiency, associated with logic, focus and order. White, silver, gold are its colours. Directions are west, northwest, and this is linked to communication, helpful people and travel. This reminds me of the air element of the tarot, I think, like swords, clarity, wind, speaking your truth. Just an observation. And then the water represents flow, wisdom and intuition, associated with mystery, emotional and depth. So that's a bit kind of like moon cardish. Colours are black and deep blue. The direction is north, and the linked areas are career, spirituality and movement. In the Feng Shui practice, these elements interact through cycles of creation and destruction. For example, the wood feeds the fire creates earth, as in ash, earth produces metal, metal enriches water, and water nourishes wood, and the harmony depends on how these elements are balanced in your space, in each room, each corner, and the directions that carries a unique energy signature. And what I quite love as well is when you look at the graphics in books about how these energies work together, they do in fact create a pentacle, which I just think is amazing. I mean, that's no coincidence, that. And I feel that there's a lot of connection to Reiki with Feng Shui. It's like a natural progression to learn Reiki and understand chakras, and then look at your auras and your meridians, and all that works with Feng Shui, because Reiki and chakras very much about the inside of your energy centers, and your house also interacts with those energy centers, and that is why we do Feng Shui, to help us react and interact with the energy centers within us and without us. So Feng Shui works on the basis that you have an emotional energy field running throughout and around your body. The energy can be seen around you as an aura, or it flows inside through your activity centers called chakras and out along the paths known as meridians. And lots of things can affect these energy centers, such as electromagnetic energies, which carries your thoughts, ideas and emotions to every cell in your body. So the energies around you absolutely do influence the energies within you. Your emotional energy is constantly interacting with the energy around your home, and as a result, some of your feelings reflect the place in which you live. Blimey, that is the truest thing ever right now for me. And then, God, I love this bit, there's the 5 animals in Feng Shui. Now, I understand this is getting a little bit complicated, and a lot of newbie Feng Shui stuff doesn't seem to include the 5 animals, but I just think it's brilliant as a witch. So the 5 animals are the dragon, the phoenix, the tiger, the tortoise, and of course the beautiful snake. And these represent your outer energy fields around your body. So your natural flow of chi will become more powerful if you are sitting or standing in the right positions that the animals are in. For example, the phoenix is in front of you. So when you walk around, you're led by your phoenix. which is what the power position's all about. If you sit in a room with lots of space in front of you and you can see the door, you're ready for opportunities, that is giving your phoenix room to stretch out its beautiful wings and create something magnificent. To your right, you have got your tiger, whose aim is to guard and move forward with you. And I've not read this, but I feel there's something about achieving stuff with your right hand if you're right-handed. It's your dominant hand, it's the hand you shake with, it's the hand you take with, it's the hand to grasp opportunities with. I've not read this, but I feel that weirdly deep within. So this can be helped by an arm of a chair or items of furniture that are comfortable for your arms, and also a low wall can help with this. Behind you is protected by a symbolic hard shell, which is the tortoise. And this chai seeks out solid structures like the back of a chair or a wall or your bed head against a wall made of wood. And this helps you be solid, grounded and protected. And then the dragon sits to your left. The dragon seeking new opportunities and will thrive from things on your left, such as lights, flame, a fountain, moving body of water, or a hedge, nature, or a vase of flowers in your house. And then, I love this, the snake sits in the centre of the 4 animals and that represents you. Doesn't that sound a little bit like Kundalini stuff with the snake in the centre of you at your spine of your chakra? I just think that is such another little uncanny overlap there. So the idea is to help with your chi in your house. When you sit in like your living room, you can design your space in correspondence with these 5 animal elements that sit around you, so that when you're relaxing in your natural state, these animals can be working for you in traditional Chinese Feng Shui law. Did you know that there are loads of different schools of Feng Shui? I had no idea about this. So there's the compass and non-compass schools. And this is about the landscape, which is considered to be the greatest influence of setting up a home, where the plains and the sun are the predominant force. So this is obviously about in the old days when you could build your own house. I mean, we can't really apply that in modern day Western capitalism society. Swailes bingo, got capitalism in there. And then there's form school. So this is about the shapes and the forms of the landscape that are studied to identify 4 mystical animals, which we've just talked about. And then these are used to map out the natural flow of chi through the terrain where your house will be built. That helps you orientate and set up a dwelling. Bit complicated, not accessible. Free Gate School. This is a relatively new style of Feng Shui developed during the 1970s in New York. The position of the door to a building originates the magic square, which is the bagua, which is placed over the floor plan, creating a map of how the chi will flow through the house and to each room. Each sector of the bagua represents an area of your life, like the far right is the corner of wealth, etc., etc. This is quite a cool one for beginners because it's easy to access, and I think you use your front door as north, which helps you base the map, and then you can alter your house in accordance to the map. Then there's 8 Mansion School. This is a compass-based approach. It's quite complicated. It's all about the date of birth, and that defines your Kua number. And this is the chi number you were born with, and whether you are part a west or east life group. From this, homes facing 4 of the 8 compass directions are favourable. So that's quite complicated. It doesn't seem very popular because you've got to know lots of little details, and I think there's probably a bit of astrology overlap there. And then there's Flying Star School. This is a traditional Chinese compass-based system An astrology chart of the period in which your building was constructed is merged with the chart of the present year, and the magic square is then orientated according to the layout of the building and its surroundings. For this method, there's a special compass called the Lopan, and I think this is where every year it changes with like the tilt of the earth and stuff, so that's also quite complicated. 8 Directions School. This is a Japanese development of the traditional compass-based Feng Shui. In this school, a compass is used to orient the 8 directions over your home's floor plan. Based on the magic square, each direction carries a specific kind of energy into the home. This can be enhanced or calmed according to your needs. In addition, your sleeping and sitting positions determine which of the energies you absorb more of. So this is probably, I would say, the most common one, because this talks about how you can move your furniture and sitting in your power position and sleeping away from a door and all that jazz. But I think most people who do Feng Shui, at least on their own, do kind of like a mixture of all these, which I kind of do as well. Because we're learning and we're doing as best, and any change is good, right? I mean, being in a rut and feeling the energy isn't moving right, always worth a bash at doing a little bit of basic Feng Shui. Been using a number of books for this. One is The Feng Shui Bible by Simon Brown, Secrets of Space Clearing by Denise Lin, Feng Shui Your Life by Marie Diamond, which is bloody brilliant, and then this old school one called Easy to Use Feng Shui, 186 Ways to Success. I do find with the older books, they're a lot more brutal than the newer books, and they're a bit like, you do this or you're going to have bad luck for the rest of your life, which is really damaging. And they do actually label it like dangerous energy. And the older one also talks about like women's faces and stuff and the shape and what's bad chai and what's good chai. I was a bit like, wow, that is harsh, because you can't change your face, can you? In the old school book, they were talking about poison arrows. So you probably know about these. These are straight lines that chi doesn't like, and they can be quite aggressive. I think it's about how quickly the energies move along long straight lines. So it was saying if you've got a long hallway in your house that you've got to walk through to obviously get out the front door, which is exactly what I've got, this is considered a really bad poison arrow. And every time you leave your house, the energy will shoot you in the back, and every time you come in, the poison arrow will shoot you in the heart, and therefore you'll have bad karma and stuff. They actually use the word deadly energies or something, and I were like, hey, simmer down, that is way over the top, okay, let's just chill. If you've got a long straight hall, what can you do? You can't really do much, can you? I mean, I've been listening to the Feng Shui Flow podcast, and it was suggesting you can calm the chi down because it moves fast in a straight corridor by adding a plant and a mirror, maybe some mirrors that aren't facing the outside door, because mirrors are a sword in Feng Shui. They bounce the energy around. So if you have a mirror opposite your front door, it'll come in fast and just bounce right out of there. Also, they double the energy. So if you have them in your office, mirroring your workstation or your computer or your finance books or whatnot, you're doubling your work. Mirrors are a big deal in Feng Shui, and it's not a good idea in Feng Shui to have a mirror directly opposite your bed so you can see yourself in the mirror when you sleep, because there's some superstitions that it can confuse your soul if you're dreaming and maybe doing a spot of lucid dreaming or astral projection. Who knows what we do when we're asleep? Because there's two of it can confuse the soul, and so it might get stuck in the mirror. Not sure I believe that, but yeah, I would never sleep with a mirror facing my bed. I do have a mirror to the side of my bed towards my feet, which doesn't bother me so much. I think that's okay. But I may have said this before, when I go to Centre Parks, I always cover the mirror with the spreader runner piece of fabric thing they give you, because it is proper dodgy the way it's angled. It's like proper staring at me, and I really dislike it. So maybe I do believe the folklore tale about how mirrors can trap your soul. I mean, the more I think about it. But mirrors are useful in money bowls. If you put a mirror underneath your money bowl, that doubles the money. Another really awesome basic ritual you can get into is stuff that you do in your bathroom. Bathrooms are quite negative in Feng Shui because they're the room of waste. They are the drainage system to your house, and that's where you lose stuff. So if you have a toilet facing the front door, which I do at the end of my deadly corridor, always keep the lid down on toilets, any toilet, all toilets, because the good chai can go down the toilet and out. So it's really easy 101 to just keep the toilet lid down and keep the bathroom door closed at all times if you can, with the window open to allow good chi circulation. And that discourages the good vibrations to bugger off through the piping. And don't beautify your bathroom because you don't want to invite the good chi out into your bathroom. The waste room where there's exits all around in the form of pipes and drains. Also, apparently, if you feel like money doesn't stay with you and it leaks out of you, check your house for leaks, for water running where you don't know. A little drip drip here can help money to flow too fast out of your hands. Plants in your home is fantastic for the Feng Shuiing. I'm a plant mum, I have them all over the place, and I'm not surprised to hear that plants are a big deal in Feng Shui as well. All the leafy round plants, especially money plants, jade plants, the pancake ones that are round. The round shape in Feng Shui is massive business, so positive. Everything needs to be as round as possible, including your plant leaves. And, another connection, the circle for witchcraft is also very important. The wheel of fortune, the wheel of the year, a circle of witches, a coven, full moon,
Scottish Murders is hosted by me, Dawn, and is a multi-award shortlisted victim-focused podcast covering the murders of those from or living in Scotland. We tell each victim's story in a respectful, sensitive, unsensational and unopinionated way. So why not join us wherever you listen to your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode of Scottish Murders.
Cacti, not a good move in Feng Shui because of the spikes. They can be seen as quite negative in their vibration and quite defensive and aggressive. Kind of like on guard, like shielding, like aggression. And that could discourage the good chi from coming into your house. I try to think of it as chi is a guest we're trying to invite into the house by making it as comfortable as possible, and that includes a nice clear hallway to come in, a welcome mat on the floor, nice fresh air moving round, a gorgeous smelling space with a beautiful scented candle. But we don't want scary spiky plants to scare it off or it might hurt itself, and there is something about them called dragon breath where it can grab hold of the positive chi and rip holes in it, which I find just amazing. And weirdly, really deep down, I kind of feel it, I kind of know. And I've never had many cacti, and the cacti I have had, I've pretty much killed. I had one recently that I was looking at going like, I'm going to give that away, because I'm not getting anything from it. And then I read this book about how cacti isn't so great in Feng Shui, and that was like, oh, that's the universe telling me to get rid. I have 2 other cacti in this house, and they're tiny little baby ones and not so spiky really, and I'm reluctant to get rid of them because I grew them from a cutting or a leaf or whatever, and I'm quite chuffed that I've managed to keep them going and they're thriving. And this is just a guide. I mean, in my Discord channel, I was saying about cacti and somebody said, oh, I'm not getting rid of my cacti because I love all plants. They mean so much to me. And I was like, well, yeah, if that's how you feel, then that is correct. If you're feeling like the good vibes and the chi is moving around and you've got a couple of cacti and they're not causing any bother, then do not get rid. If they're giving you delight in that area of plant keeping, then absolutely keep them. But that cacti I had, it was like, no, that's a sign, it's going. And so I give it away. And I found this quite surprising. Bonsai plants represent stunted growth and for this reason are not good Feng Shui. And bonsais take a lot of looking after and you've got to continuously trim them. So from a Feng Shui energy point of view, you're physically cutting stuff back to keep it looking nice as opposed to letting things naturally yin and yang around the place. So it does make sense in my witchy brain. I get it. I do get it. I thought they were associated with that part of the world and go hand in hand with that culture, that belief system. But as a white Western woman, that is very ignorant of me. Live and learn, live and learn. And also it's like with the flowers, you know, I always say I don't really like putting fresh flowers on my altar as a witch because I don't like the idea of stuff dying on the altar, and that is very reflective of Feng Shui. Yeah, flowers are amazing. Anything growing and thriving is amazing, but as soon as them flowers begin to wilt, that's the time to take them out the house and put them in the compost. And part of my eco warrior essence does struggle with Feng Shui in terms of it's asking you not to have anything that's chipped or broken or you want to fix. If you do want to fix, you should really take it out of the house or fix it straight away. But even holy clothes, you know, jeans with holes, scruffy stuff, you got to get rid of it. You can't keep hold of it because it all affects the chi. I mean, I do get it. It's like dressing like you want to feel. Dressing like a goddess every day to make yourself feel like a goddess. And everybody needs scruffs, don't they, for like gardening and DIY and stuff. I guess you wouldn't wear them just because. But sometimes you just want to wear your slouchy pants and Netflix and chill all day. I think that's all right myself. Just don't do it all the time. I just think, I don't know, it's quite wasteful, you know, getting rid of stuff just because there's a teeny weeny chip in it. But then I guess it's kind of like glamour magic. You're going to be using stuff and dressing yourself in clothes that are beautiful and perfect, and that's signalling to the universe and this chi energy of the vibes you're trying to attract. So again, that's quite sort of glamour magic-y, but very wasteful. And I have got rid of a lot of stuff, but there is the odd comfy jumper that I just love that's got a big old armpit hole that I'm still trying to let go of. There's something about even the art and the visualization you hang in your house. Feng Shui asks us to really think about art and photographs, why we like them, do they bring us joy? It also discourages pictures of still water because that is associated with stagnant energy, you know, like a calm lake is very beautiful and relaxing and good for meditation. But in terms of chi energy, you want moving water, you want to hear it flowing, you want to visualize it moving. Even though I read apparently the sea isn't good because the sea is so vast and it's too much water energy that'll affect the important balance. So I must admit, I have purchased a little water fountain from the old Tinterwebs. I'm waiting on it to come in, and it is a gold, kind of like a ship. It looks like a ship, and it's got lily pads, and the water goes from one lily pad to the other one. And I'm hoping this is going to help me move the energy around my house because it's moving water. It's gold, which is also really good in this. And also a boat apparently is really good because a boat is transport, which moves you. You see where I'm going with this? When you really think about it and notice the little hidden meanings of stuff, it is like witchcraft, it is. Bloody hell though, this old school book is suggesting you get like koi carp and a turtle for success, not because you enjoy the pets but because it's good Feng Shui. That is such dated advice. Okay, I'm not going to go out there and get a turtle just for this. I do have fish though, and fish is also really good. Aquariums are really good if you're into that. I have a little aquarium in the shape of a crystal ball And who knew? That is really good Feng Shui and is helping me in the family room move the energies around with the beautiful little fishes. Also, aren't koi carp like seriously expensive, like collector's fish? No, I will stick to effigies that represents the Feng Shui energies, which leads me nicely on to the next thing that I did, which was get a three-legged toad, which is so gorgeous looking. I really like it. And I got it from Vinted, it's secondhand, and it's really beautiful. And you put a little coin in its mouth, you know, the little coins with the square hole in the middle, which is a Feng Shui thing. So I gets this frog through the door, and I was a bit like, I need to name this frog. And I put it on my Instagram, I don't know if you saw. And I had Bob, and I had Liam, and I had, what was it now, Clover, Jake, all kinds of silly stuff. But the queen of naming everything, which is Shannon Pearl, who's becoming a bit of a bestie in Swailes land, she came up with the name for the frog, and I'm just going to tell you, right, it's amazing. Drum roll, please. Roderick Bazaar. Oh my God, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's such a good name, and it suits him. And I do honestly feel it'll work so much better now that he's got a name, he's being christened. So thank you, Shannon. That is pretty marvellous. In China, the frogs are regarded very lucky animals to find around the yard. The Chinese believe that if the whole family of frogs are living in your backyard, you will be protected from any dangers or bad luck which might come your way. The three-legged frog, however, is supposed to be extremely auspicious and is easy to find in good fortune stores and Chinese supermarkets. The three-legged frog, or toad, is deciphered having 3 coins in its mouth to signify the bringing of gold into your home. But you got to be careful because this symbolism can also mean taking gold out of the house. So it's really important where you place the frog. It needs to be near the front door, facing inwards, not outwards, inwards, because it's asking the money to come through your door into your house. If you place it pointing the door, which I actually did in the beginning, in the hallway on the left hand side of the corridor near this witchy room where I'm recording right now. We're only there for an evening, and I figured it out really quick. It needed actually to have its back towards the front door to bring good fortune into our house. You'd never put the frog in the kitchen or any of the bathrooms, near the toilet, which is pretty obvious to me, as it can turn the frog angry. I just find that really cool. And that feels like a witchy thing too. Like there's a deity, there's a god, there's a symbol, there's a statue, which I have all over my altar. It represents something and it means something and it's treated with respect. Totally the same, man. It's also not a good idea to put them in the bedrooms. They are best placed in either the living room or the dining areas, but mostly near the entrance of your home. It's even better to have 2 identical frogs. 2 identical, most things in Feng Shui, I realise. It asks you to have 2 identical pots either side of your front door, because again, it's that symbolising balance to the universe, to the energies. You want to get yin and yang perfect, and so stuff in 2s is really beneficial in your house. But let's be honest, we can't go around just buying 2 of everything, can we? Because that is not what it's about. And also there's the clutter thing we've got to cover yet. So if you do happen to have 2 of something, try mirror them and see what happens. It's such a basic thing. Get 2 of the same, mirror it, and it should change your chi just a little bit. I do want to say though, it's got to be more than just buying a frog and putting it in your house. But I think as a witch, as you're listening to this and you're a witch, you already know the gravity and the weight of worshipping a deity, worshipping a symbol in that format. You know, because we do it all the time in the goddess and the god, and we have statues of moon-gazing hares, Hecate and all that. So I do believe if you have respect for the 3-legged frog or toad, it will work for you. Ooh, and especially in the bedroom, having pairs of stuff in the bedroom is massively good, especially if you're looking for a partner or if you're in a relationship that needs a bit of work. Try putting a pair of something in your room. For me personally, so I've taken pictures of my relatives out of my bedroom and replaced it with a really nice picture of me and my husband, and also this sweet little ornament he bought me, which is like two little lovebirds on a twig looking at each other, and a pair of hearts shaped crystals as well. So I've put all them in. And if you are looking to attract a partner, live as if they're already in your house. Sounds a bit weird, but it kind of goes on par with manifesting as well. Do you know, like sleeping on the side of the bed, having room for a partner, having a gap in your wardrobe for your partner's clothes when they arrive. Having a pair of identical lamps on either side of your bed is also fantastic. It does remind me of manifesting, you know, making room in your life, giving stuff away to create space for that thing to come in. Trying to think of all the new things I've started doing this past couple of weeks, and it isn't so much moving furniture around. I'm limited on that because my house is a very strange house and it has tons of windows, loads of doors, and not much solid wall space. So it's really hard to move furniture around, but I'm focusing on the front door, especially because we have a porch and it was full of plants and a little bit dirty, so I give it a deep clean. I washed all the windows. Oh my god, window washing is massive in Feng Shui to encourage that little energy to come in. One of my new favourite things as well is coming back from the school run, opening all the windows and the doors, the front door and the back door, standing there like a pillock and going like, you know, really dramatically with my hands in the air going like, welcome, good energies, welcome, good chai, come flow into my house. That really does feel like a witch move. I swear I do that every morning now. It's becoming an actual thing. And I just really like it. I like the feel of the wind going past my head as I'm stood there. And I like how it breezes through the house. And I think it's good in terms of just hygiene. Like, it's really beneficial. And because the back door is associated with energy leaving and the back door and the front door don't mirror each other, which is helpful, especially considering I've got a deadly hallway. I just love it. I love it all. It makes so much sense to me deep down. I really do know this. Oh yeah, and also there's a broom. Oh my gosh, there's a broom by the door in Feng Shui. So much similar to how we do it, witches. Bristles up during the night to keep the bad energy out. Bristles down during the day to welcome the good energies in. How amazing is that? Witchcraft right there. Oh my god. I suppose it's easy in the summer though, isn't it? To have all your doors and windows open, it's so easy. In the winter, I might not be quite as fanatic about it, but I'm still going to try and do it because I do really think this is the biggest movement in my house, is letting the wind blow through it every morning. When you look into it, there's just so much you can do about your power positions and where you put your head when you go to sleep. We're lucky enough to have a big wooden bed with a big headboard, and apparently that's amazing for Feng Shui because it helps the turtle on your back, you know, to feel secure, and it's good to have your head against the wall and the window to your right, I think it is. And they do ask you not to have a door facing your feet in some Feng Shui, but again, you can't move a door, can you? How are you going to do that? One of the books mentioned you shouldn't have deities in your bedroom as well because you do certain things in your bedroom with your lover and it's offensive. And I was a bit like, oh my gosh, I kind of wish I hadn't read that because my little altar in my bedroom is just so important to me. So I'm going to have to cover it up or something at night. Not always, but sometimes, if the moment should take us. I also found a fantastic excuse in the form of Feng Shui to order a lovely new tourmaline for my newly cleaned porch to help the bad energies stay away, suck them all up. I think, does tourmaline suck up the bad energies or repel them? I feel like it sucks them up and maybe the other one repels them, you know, the obsidian. I don't know why I feel like this. This is a witchy thing, perhaps. But yeah, any excuse for a new crystal. I have bought a lovely big one from Canny Crystals. And yeah, it's very nice. Sat on my windowsill. Crystals as well, obviously massive in Feng Shui. They talk about the quartzes, rose quartz, to encourage the loving energy and all that jazz. I might have to stop because I'm babbling like mad and I don't want to overface you. I feel like I could talk about this for quite a long time. It really has enlightened my soul and I'm enjoying it so much. But I need to put a decent amount on the clutter. Oh my God, witch. The clutter in my house is a massive issue. And the reason I got into Feng Shui, because it's just getting to a point now where it is really affecting my memory and it's destroying parts of my life. If I'm really brutally honest, people ask me for stuff, friends ask me for stuff, emails, I forget really important stuff, names, of people I've just met. It all just, it's really bad at the moment. And, I've got 2 kids. They are messy. The living room, where we spend most of our time, is an absolute bomb site and it overfaces me often. I struggle with it so much. It is having a knock-on effect with my mental health. It helps that I've got this witchy room, which I'm trying to not overstuff with witchy things, and books are especially a problem in my life, which I've said before. Having stuff in its place just really helps, and the energy comes through and can move around all right. When you've got clutter around, it's almost like the energy snags on the clutter, like when you're walking around and the dog grabs your sleeve and it makes you mad. In my mind, that's what clutter does in your house. Like it snags the energy and stops it flowing where it should flow. I can't just get rid of stuff because it's not my stuff. I have been selling a lot on Vinted to try and get shut. I've been giving stuff away. I've been binning stuff that I've had for years and just isn't worthy of giving away. That kind of stuff you've got to give yourself acknowledgement and permission to let it go. Like especially when people buy your stuff. And it's lovely stuff, but it's not you. I've always been that person to hold on to it. But it's almost giving it a disservice to the item, because it's being bought and it's not being loved, even though it was bought with love. So it seems, in my mind, it's a good thing to give it to somebody who perhaps will love it and will maybe buy it and be like, oh my God, that is so me. And if you can't get rid of stuff, put it in a box, put it in your garage or your loft. If you haven't thought about it for a year, time to get shut. Oh my God, it sounds so easy. It does sound easy. It's not easy. It's not. But I'm hoping doing all this Feng Shui will encourage me to let go of more. I always think of that line from Fight Club where Brad Pitt goes, the stuff you own ends up owning you at the beginning. I think about that quote all the time and it is the most truest quote. Who knew that Tyler Durden were just like on point with his Feng Shui? Even on my laptop, my dodgy blinky laptop, I used to have a rolling pictures of, like landscapes, like the desert and a beautiful lake and photography that wasn't mine that used to just change every time I switched it on. And this isn't great for Feng Shui because especially deserts come from a place of hardship and a place of drought. And then you've got the still water again with not much fluid movement, stagnant energies. And so I read that it was ideal to change your background wallpaper on your computer to something you want to achieve in business. So I've put a logo of the Bell Witch podcast basically in the middle with a lovely orange background because orange is a colour associated with success and abundance, and them two things work quite well together. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll change it and stop the old desert landscape going on. See if that makes a difference. Oh yeah, and on the topic of photographs, having photographs of your family or anybody really in the kitchen, especially on the fridge, is considered quite negative Feng Shui because you're putting coldness of that relationship from your fridge onto the people in the pictures, which is bananas. I mean, my fridge is covered in picture magnets of my kids and my family and my friends and fun times and silly times, and I actually quite love that they're there. But recently, the way the window is opposite the fridge, it's bleaching the pictures on the fridge. And I did think maybe a month ago I should probably take those down because the light is wrecking the pictures on the fridge. And then I read this book and it suggests having no pictures of people as magnets on your fridge. Don't you just think that's uncanny? That is the universe giving little hints and tips if you're open to it and you see what it's trying to say to you. It's bloody witchcraft, I swear it is. In Feng Shui, your oven and your microwave is what's known as mouth of qi, meaning a place where the energy flows from. So to make the most of this incoming flow of the fresh energy, it's best to have them facing the family's breadwinner's direction. But since most ovens are built in and tricky to move, you can always reposition the microwave to face the direction as an easy alternative. And I guess they give out a lot of energy, don't they, in terms of heat, fire, electricity, vibrations and all that. So it does make sense not to have them facing each other. That does feel like really bad energies combining because one is hot, especially with the fridge. Like the fridge is cooling, the oven is heating. So I guess it's like a bad mix of energies. Islands apparently are an issue. I don't really understand that myself. Anything with corners is an issue. Throughout these books I've been reading, it's just such a big deal to Feng Shui to have round furniture. A round dining table is amazing. Absolutely amazing for Feng Shui. And they are quite rare. I mean, we have one, but it's from my husband's childhood. We're very lucky to have it. It's a proper old banger type table, but I like it a lot more now that I know round is better Feng Shui. And when I look at our life, we do have a nice dining ritual of sitting round the table and facing each other. There's no corners. And we don't really argue over dinner. Maybe that's why, because we've got a round table. And also the breadwinner sits in the power position where they can see the doors, both doors, the entrance to the dining room and also the back door. And I think that has something to do with it as well. I just think when you really look into it and you look around your house and you notice little patterns, you can see the little bit of influence they have on like your daily living. But ultimately, Feng Shui is beneficial in practicality. It's asking you to be neat and organised. It's asking you to look at your stuff and decide whether you want it or not if you use it. Do your cabinets out, do your kitchen cupboards out, look at stuff that's out of date and bin it. It's all those really practical little rituals that help your aura, help your energies to flow, help the child to come in and also help you just be the best human you can be, I suppose. It's probably not the most calm energy in yourself because there's a little bit of order to your life. So maybe it is just a practical thing, but I feel like there's so much more to it and it makes complete sense to me. It really does. Anyway, I'm going to leave you there because I feel like I bombarded you. I've had so much fun talking about Feng Shui and I will keep you updated if things start to happen for me. It's early days yet. I've only been doing this a couple of weeks maybe, and the big stuff I've done and now I'm just like fine-tuning the little stuff. But the biggest change is opening the door every morning, doors and windows, and putting the toilet seats down and closing the bathroom doors. Them two I feel are quite big achievements for a house with kids. I put little post-it notes all over the bathroom saying lid down, flush, and a little smiley face to try and get into the habit of doing this. So do let me know if I've inspired you to get on the Feng Shui bus too. It'd be great to hear what you've been up to. And join the Discord and let's have a conversation about it because there's just so much to know. It's really deep. This is a very brief overview. There's so much more to it. And there's loads of really cool specialists out there. One being Marie Diamond and Kimberly Gallagher, who's really lovely and always replies to DMs and stuff, which is just so good. I love her. You have been listening to the Bell Witch podcast. created with love and magic by me, Swailes, the Friendly Green Witch. I love to hear from you, and I absolutely love to celebrate you. If you have a podcast or a business, a witchy business, a pagan related topic you love to talk about, you can reach me on the Bell Witch Podcast at yahoo.com. Send me a trailer and I will absolutely play it, because there is magic in sharing audiences amongst podcasts. Music by Jeff Harvey of Pixabay. The official Bell Witch photographer is the lovely Beverly Thornton. Thank you so much for choosing the Bell Witch Podcast to fill your ears. Stay magical, witches!